Hello and welcome to Old People This Week. My name is Jeff, and that gentleman there who voted for Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt,
Absolutely.
that's Mike. Good afternoon, Mike.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing? Hello, everyone.
I'm doing fine, thank you. Old People This Week is a podcast for people who are 60 years of age and over. So if you stumbled in here and you're not yet 60, you can go back to your Reddit, go back to TikTok, or you can stay here and learn something from the two smartest aging men in America.
Exactly.
Exactly. We every week, every Thursday, as a matter of fact, we drop all kinds of knowledge and information and stories for people, our peers, to know as they head into the weekend, so that they sound smart when they're out playing pickleball, playing parcheesi, hanging out at the gym, or of course at happy hour, where Mike and I lounge.
With a chilled beverage in our hand, usually a martini, shaken, not stirred.
For you, it's a martini. For me, a little red wine. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, as I've said before, Mike will come over to the house and he will bake you a pie. I know his specialty is, what is your specialty?
Peach pie, double crust peach pie, lattice top.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he'll give you a double crust peach pie if you subscribe. Send us an email to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. You can ask us anything, tell us anything. Just don't make fun of Mike's shirt there. He gets pissed off when you do that.
What is there to be making fun of? This is an immaculate, beautiful shirt. It's a collector edition golf shirt.
Oh, right. It means you got it at Goodwill. You collected it there. Check out our Substack, 52tasks.substack.com. You'll find we impart knowledge as well as a task every week. And you can also check us out. If you don't like to look at our ugly faces, you can check us out on Apple or Spotify.
Why wouldn't you want to look at our faces?
I'm wearing this jacket because my wife has turned the air conditioning down so much that it's like frozen, and I'm frozen in here.
I thought you were just hiding that turkey neck, but I wondered why you were wearing
I should buy some, like a clothespin, keep it fastened in the back there. See, it gets rid of that.
Yeah. Nothing helps mine. If I touch one here, another one pops out here.
That's because you have acorns.
I have multiple chins. Multiple chins. I could live off body fat for a week if I was trapped in the wilderness.
I could.
Ponder that.
I don't know what to say about that.
Ponder that.
Yeah. The first thing we were going to talk about today, or I had on my list to talk about, is my peeve about people and their pets nowadays. People have gone berserk. They are increasingly becoming almost ridiculous about how people treat their pets.
They're accessories. Jesus, I mean, it's just the stuff we see is stupid.
Yeah. It's over the top. I told you I was driving around with my wife, Valerie, the other day, and we came to a stop sign, and next to us a bike pulled up, and a woman pulls up next to us on her bike, and on her back she has like a knapsack that has a plastic little space in it, like for seeing out, and in there she had a little dog.
A dog,
and
yeah.
My wife went berserk thinking that was the dog couldn't breathe in there. And why was she carrying it around on her back anyways? If you're going for a bicycle ride, you don't need to be carrying your pet around with you.
No, leave the damn dog at home, take your bike ride, and come back.
You don't need to bring him to Costco. You don't need to bring him to movie theaters. You don't need to bring him to restaurants.
No.
They can stay home.
Please.
We now view our pets not only as family members, but as equivalent to children, said James Serpell, an emeritus professor of ethics and animal welfare at the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. The problem is dogs and cats are not children, and owners have become increasingly protective and restrictive, so animals are not able to express their own doggy and catty natures as freely as they might.
It's ridiculous. I mean, when we were growing up on the ranch, the dogs worked for a living. You know, that we either had cattle dogs or hunting dogs. And they lived in the barn at night so the wolves or the bears wouldn't get them. But during the daytime, they rode around in pickup trucks or on the back of four-wheelers, and they worked cattle or flushed pheasants or whatever. But they worked, you know, and we fed them meat, you know, real meat, whole pieces of meat.
There's some venison.
Because they're carnivores. We tried not to introduce too much tomato and basil salad into their menus, which some of the new dog foods have. It's crazy.
My mom and dad kept animals, and nowadays they would be locked up for what they did with those animals. They had a dog when I was little named Casey, and we didn't live on a working farm or anything. The dog had no responsibility. There was no worry about people breaking into the house. We didn't even lock the door. There was no key to the house. I mean, so that wasn't a danger. There was no cattle or rustle with it, or there was nothing to do with it. The dog didn't have anything to do. But yet they had him out in the backyard. They had him on a chain, and and he had a little doghouse out there, which is fine for about 6 months of the year in Ohio. And the other 6 months, it was covered with snow, or it was just terrible. And it lived out there by itself. My job was to go out there every night and bring it food.
Did he live there in the wintertime?
Yeah, it would get completely covered over. I had to go out there in the mornings with a shovel to let him get out of his doghouse.
Jeez.
Then my dad had got older, and he brought a dog into the house that he named Lady. And it was the exact opposite. So for 30 years, he kept dogs basically as slave beasts around the house. And then he brings Lady in, and he falls madly in love with Lady. And he lets Lady live in the house. And he would tell all his buddies, and he would tell me, he'd tell anybody, that Lady could count. And that it was the smartest dog in the world, and that we should respect that and leave Lady alone, and no matter what Lady did. And my mother would just sit there,
Yeah, I was going to say, what'd your mother think?
She waited till my dad wasn't around, and she'd kick at the dog. That's what she did. She didn't like it at all. But anyway, that's the way pets in those days were treated, and nowadays it's completely opposite. The sensible version is sort of where Valerie and I are at with our dog. It's not too pampered, and it's not too treated roughly or anything. It's sort of just, he's just a modern dog. He goes out for his walks, he goes to the bathroom, we clean up after him, and he eats, and he has a nice life.
Well, you're lucky too, and so's he, that he's not some little Pomeranian or something that you could tie ribbons in his hair and haul him around in a backpack. I mean, he's a big dog. So yeah, he lives his own life. He's cool. Yeah. I love that picture of him riding in your car the other day. That was great.
Oh, I'll put that picture up. That was because an emergency came up. He had to be picked up at the doggy daycare, and the only car available was my little Porsche, and he barely fit in there, and he was all over me when I'm trying to drive home, licking me and squirming around, and spitting on everything, drooling all over the place.
Attaboy. Good dog.
I had to clean the car for a half hour after I got him out of there, which wasn't easy getting him out of there. It was like he was stuffed in there. But at any rate, so that's the moral of this story is, if you're going to get a dog, have some,
treat him like a dog.
Treat him like a dog. Yeah. Let him go out and chase something too. By the way, let him get out and get some exercise.
Yeah.
Don't need to be carrying him around. Speaking of pets, so up in Niagara Falls, New York, there's a pet store there. A woman shows up one morning recently with a parrot. His name was Pepper. Pepper the parrot. And the old woman shows up, says she can't take care of Pepper anymore. and she wants to give it to the animal shelter. Well, first thing this Pepper says is to the volunteer who goes to grab her. Pepper says, "Do you want me to kick your ass?" And then it launches into a whole bunch of expletives and and this is some old woman who turned it in, but it evidently taught Pepper how to say every nasty thing there is to say. Well,
like our neighbor Rick's old bird.
well, I'll get that in a second. But so they put on their website that they've got this sort of nasty Pepper potty-mouthed parrot at their shelter, and 400 people, basically filled out an application to adopt him.
Yeah, I saw a notice just yesterday that they did actually send him to one of those applicants, so he's got a home.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, and you were mentioning, I remember Rick, our neighbor, who we've talked about before, who's kind of a interesting dude, but Rick had a parrot for a while, but he inherited it, didn't he? He didn't buy it, did he?
No, he had it for years before he and Jennifer got together.
Oh.
And and that parrot, I can remember we would wake up some mornings and we'd either be out around the pool or have the sliders open and be working in the house, and the parrot was like, "I'll kick your ass, I'll kick your ass."
What was his name?
And much worse. I mean, this bird was really foul-mouthed, and he'd just go off on a tangent.
What was the bird's name?
Screw you over the fence.
What was the bird's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
I'll have to ask Rick.
Yeah.
I'd call him now, but I don't know if he's home. Boy, that's see, that's the human adoptions don't work that way. If you go to a home where there's kids there to be adopted, the one that starts cursing at you is not the one who's going to get a lot of people.
No.
All right, more news. Abdul Duke Fakir, the stylish and genteel singer who nurtured the Four Tops legacy for 7 decades, died. He was 88. So 7 decades, that's 70 years, and he was 88. So he must have started that Four Tops when he was 18. Pretty amazing.
I remember I was already in my 20s when he started.
I don't doubt that at all. Baby, I need your loving.
No.
Got
no,
to have
please.
all your loving. That was their song.
Please.
Fakir was the last survivor.
No, that was not their song. What you just did was not their song.
At least their words. Fakir was the last surviving member of the beloved Motown act, preceded in death by his teen friends and group mates Lawrence Payton, Obie Benson, and Levi Stubbs. He'd kept a band going. It was one of those bands, by the way, that was touring with, there was nobody left from the original group except him.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
a lot of these bands nowadays. You want me to
They were
sing?
so good, though. No, don't sing. No,
I can
please
reprise that.
Don't
famous,
sing.
All right.
I'm going to have to saucer and blow again if you do that. You never knew what that was, did you?
I still don't understand it. What does saucer and blow mean again? In 1800s vernacular?
1800s, you had a hot cup of coffee or soup or whatever. You'd pour a little bit in the saucer, and you'd blow on it, cool it down, and then you'd sip it.
Well, why didn't you just blow on it when it's in the cup? Why put it in the saucer?
Because it's too much of it in the cup. It wouldn't cool down enough.
They had funny ideas back there, pre-World War I. And just to show you, by the way, if we ran into someone of that era, and I told them this next story, why are Gen Z boys chewing on rock-hard gum? Because young men are buying facial fitness chewing gum that promises to bulk up their jaw lines. This is the sign that we are like the Roman Empire and that it's all going to hell.
Yeah.
And it's just going to fall apart here, and go. It's just the end of the empire because, well, So these guys are on TikTok, and they tell viewers that they too, these are guys that have really cool jaw. I kind of got a jaw. I have a good jaw.
I did, but you can't see it anymore because I have chins. I have multiple chins.
You had a jaw underneath all that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, prominent.
I don't even need that gum. Anyways, these influencers on TikTok tell viewers that they can have the jaws of Clark Kent, that they buy these jaw sculpting gums like Jayco, Jayko, which offers tough gum in flavors like muscle, mango, and jacked watermelon. Jacked watermelon.
Oh, great.
That sounds obscene. Jesus. Of course, it doesn't work, and these guys end up in the doctor's office with jaw pain or damaged fillings.
Yeah.
Fillings are falling out of their mouth.
At least they won't have any brain damage because they don't have any to start with if they're worried about their appearance of their jaw profile.
Yeah. Stupid. As long as we're talking about the young and the dumb, which is anyone younger than 60.
Than us. Yeah.
Than us. I saw this. It killed me. Italian officials are trying to identify a young woman who was filmed kissing, humping, and grinding against a statue of Bacchus, the god of wine and sensuality, in Florence over the past weekend. So here's the pictures. They say it all.
Why not? Why not?
So they're climbing around on this. That would be, if you did, think of the American equivalent. If somebody got all up on Abraham Lincoln in Washington on that, start like humping him.
Sitting in his lap.
Sitting in his lap.
Doing a lap dance on Abe Lincoln.
Honest Abe would get out of his grave and kick their ass. This did not make the Italian officials happy. The country's cultural ministry and officials in Florence have expressed their fury over the incidents after pictures went viral on social media, with the Florence mayor's office calling it an act that, in quotes, mimics sex. No kidding, it mimics sex.
Oh,
That was the whole,
yeah. Shock and outrage. In Italy, where sex and wine are virtually inseparable.
The only time I've ever seen where sex and wine were connected were when I was in college. The wine was cheap and it was the 1970s, so. But at least I was a living person, not some statue.
Yeah.
The Florence City Hall said the tourist had not yet been identified, but suggested that she was, in quotes again, presumably in a state of inebriation.
Gee, you think?
All right, for my next story, a third story on the young and the dumb. Florida teen survives instantaneous lightning strike. This guy's name is Daniel Sharkey. Of course, he's down there in Florida, in Altamonte Springs. And he was mowing a neighbor's lawn during a storm, which is already, I don't bone him.
Right. Yeah, right away. Was he wearing an aluminum foil hat?
No, he's on a riding mower probably, thinking, I got to get this done. And they're paying me $5 to do it, so I'm going to get it done. And then the storm, he said, seemed reasonably far away. We have local lightning alarms that hadn't got off at the local park. And the next thing you know, I just wake up on the ground. He said he couldn't scream, he couldn't move his arms and legs, and he was flopping around before neighbors rushed over to help him.
10,000 volts will do that to you.
Jeez. So 1 minute he's riding on the riding lawnmower. The next, then lightning hits him, throws him off of it. He's flopping around on the ground. He can't move his arms or legs. So what was flopping is everything else besides the arms and the legs, I guess.
God.
And then the neighbors come over to help him. And he says it felt like an electrocution. No shit.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Really?
But that's what it was, and almost impossible to describe, he said. It didn't feel like a shock because it was so much more than that. Just everything tenses up, every muscle in your body locks up, and that was really the main medical concern. After the strike, Sharkey wasn't even sure he was alive. He heard one of his neighbors across the street yelling after she saw that's like a tongue twister. After she saw Sharkey, in quotes, go flying in the air.
Oh my God. Blew him off the lawnmower.
Boom off the lawnmower. He's flopping around. He can't talk. He can't do anything. And he survives it, though, so I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah. Good thing the lawnmower stopped.
Who knows if it stopped? I think it probably took off on its own. No, I think that I haven't ridden a lawnmower in a long time, but it seems to me that if your foot takes off the gas, it just stops.
Yeah, or your hand off the throttle.
Or if
Either
your
one,
hand
yeah.
off the throttle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have riding lawnmowers when I was a kid. You were out there pushing it.
Yeah, we had cattle. They
Well,
just
that's all right
grazed
then.
on the front yard.
You didn't have to do anything then.
No. Oh. Just ride around them at night singing cowboy songs. It was great.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
No. Please don't.
My dad, but his thing was that he wasn't going to get on that. He wasn't going to walk behind a lawnmower, so it was, son, come here.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, Dad, I want to go play with my friends.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you
Start pushing
do that right after the mow the lawn, son. You can do whatever you want. Yeah.
We had 1 acre. And that
Jesus.
doesn't seem like much until you're out there pushing a lawnmower and it's 85 degrees and 90% humidity in northern Ohio.
How come he had a lawn that big?
He bought when he bought the land first, so he bought a plot of land, 1 acre,
Yeah.
and then he built the house on it after that. He told me he paid $17,000 for the house.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
But you know what the interest rate was?
Who knows?
It was 15% or 16%, something like that.
Really?
Interest rates didn't start falling until, they stayed in the high teens for years and years and years and years till the 90s, and then it finally started creeping down till it got as low as 2.5 in 2021.
Remember those days?
Yeah. Now it's back up to 6, whatever it is.
Yeah, almost 7.
Yeah. That's why young people can't afford to get houses. You can't. It's not just a down payment. That monthly payment's going to kill you. Oh, all right. Too bad for them. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about showbiz because it's the other thing that always gets me fired up. Twisters is taking the box office by storm. The movie starring Glenn Powell, a sequel to the 1996 disaster epic Twister with Bill Paxton, has collected a massive $80.5 million from 4,151 North American theaters in its debut. So anyway, it was a massive hit. Now, you saw it, and so did my wife, who was down in Phoenix to visit her mom, and they went to see it. What was your take on it?
Boring as hell. It's all computer-generated graphics and imagery, thin storyline, marginal acting. If Glenn Powell's supposed to be the next it boy for Hollywood, they didn't look very hard. He's cute face, but he's really one-dimensional. And I don't know. The whole thing I thought was, it was a fun waste of 90 minutes, but I'd rather sit through a 3-hour Kevin Costner Western than go to a bad
How much did it cost?
movie.
How much does it cost to go to movies now?
We get the senior discount, of course, so it's like $8 or $9 a piece, something like that.
Oh, that's not bad. And you sneak in your wine.
Sneak in my wine in a water bottle, and they never check. And no, it's and have the big reclining seats, and it was kind of cool this time though because for Twister, the theater was somehow rigged so that the seats would vibrate when the storm was rolling in and the Twister came through and wiped out a whole town. So it was kind of cool.
Well, this is this generation sea level movie. They go there, they get thrilled, storms, people
Yeah.
chasing storms around. So it's, I don't mind that, and I think that Glenn Powell, the reason he's becoming big time is not because he's an actor, but just because he's sort of got a charismatic and yeah,
Yeah, he's a pretty face.
yeah, and
Yeah.
people like him. So they need somebody. Tom Cruise is getting to be about 70, and Brad Pitt's over 60. These guys are all getting older in hell, and nobody, it can only go on so long.
Yeah, yeah. And by now, everybody knows Tom Cruise is only 5'5", and everything he's done on screen is bullshit.
5'5". I stood next to. Went to the set of a movie called Fist in the late 70s, early 80s that starts Sylvester Stallone
Stallone, yeah.
playing a Jimmy Hoffa-esque character. And I was an extra in there. I was taking jobs as extra. And during that, I happened to be standing next to Stallone. And he's no giant either.
No, he's like what, 5'6", 5'7"? I mean, he's not a big guy.
Yeah, I would say that's being generous. But yeah, let's say 5'6" then.
Yeah,
Not tall.
yeah.
But he was built like a brick shit house, so I wasn't going to do anything about it or make fun of him or anything.
Yeah. He and Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with Danny Trejo. I don't care how old he is. The other thing about actors, and at that time, I knew actors, there were young guys that were like me that wanted to be actors, and they are so phony anyways. What I think about actors, they're just full of crap.
Yeah.
Well, this is the latest. I read this huge article about Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman hooking up for the new movie Deadpool and Wolverine. And they go on and on about how they had met back when and what got them together. And Hugh Jackman was talking about how he stopped playing Wolverine for a long time. And then he said, and this is I quote, when they asked him why he was going to do this movie with Reynolds, he said, "There are parts of Wolverine that I scratched around and wanted to explore, but I wasn't able to. In this film, there are sides of him that I always wanted to get out." Sides.
Oh, please.
Sides of Wolverine. What sides? Is it the side where the knives come out of your knuckles and you kill somebody, or is it the side where you're waiting to get pissed off enough so the knives come out of your knuckles and you kill somebody? There's no sides. He's either grumbling and unhappy and somebody's testing him or trying to hurt him, or there's the side where he's killing somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's his
real
here's
depth.
his
Real
range of
depth
emotions is from gruff to angry.
To more gruff.
Yeah, gruffer.
Yeah,
And
I
speak-
love all the bullshit you hear about in these press interviews, trying to read the importance into the character and the importance of the story and
These junkets that they do. I feel for the actors. I mean, they're thrown into a room and generally when they do them in L.A., they do them at the Four Seasons on Doheny, and they rent a room and they put Hugh Jackman in there, say he sits down, and then rotating in and out all day long for hours at a time are journalists from every podunk newspaper or every podunk television station, and they all ask these dumb questions. So after a while, Hugh Jackman probably wishes he was the Wolverine and he could cut their heads off. But so I'll give him credit for that. But some of the BS that they were throwing around in this article, Ryan Reynolds and he, oh my God.
yeah.
You just do the movie. You're going to make money. It's your buddy. The studio says they'll pay you for it. So just stop making something out.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah. And then I watched, over the weekend, my wife was gone, which means I could do what I wanted, watch what I wanted. So I watched this movie, Land of the Bad, on Netflix
Well,
with Thor's two brothers,
you were so desperate.
Liam and Luke Hemsley. They're brothers of Chris Hemsley, the Thor dude from Marvel Land. Anyways, it co-starred Russell Crowe, and let me tell you something. This was not the Gladiator Russell Crowe. This guy was unrecognizable.
Yeah, have you seen him lately?
No, well, yeah, I just saw him in this Land of the Bad. It's a brand new movie.
God.
And he looks like, I don't know if you remember John Goodman, who was the fat, heavy husband
Sure.
of Roseanne in the sitcom Roseanne.
Yeah.
Now, he looks like that now. big, rotund, bearded dude. He just didn't look like Russell Crowe at all.
And John Goodman's lost 100 pounds. Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He looks like he's been taking that Pesmic or whatever that's called, that drug those celebrities take to thin up. He looks too thin.
He has to run around in a shower just to get wet.
Oh my God, that dates you.
It's terrible. So bad.
All right, one good news about acting. Don Knotts. Remember Don Knotts?
Sure.
Barney Fife.
Barney Fife.
Well, he just turned 100.
I can only imagine. I mean, he looked like hell when he was 45.
That's what he has going for him. He's such an ugly, weird-looking dude that at 100 he looks exactly the same as he did when he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
He was a funny dude, boy. He peaked during that. He peaked during
Andy Griffith show.
Yeah, he peaked. He was perfect.
Mayberry.
Yeah, perfect foil for Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Great thing. Anyway, he turned 100. So that's good.
Yeah. Speaking of, did you see the Bob Newhart special on CBS?
No, you texted me that they were doing a special, but by that point, by the time I saw it, it was over.
Yeah, it was so good. God, some of the hijinks.
How old was he?
90 something.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
All right, Mike, I got a little quiz for you here.
Okay.
What do these movies have in common? Solo, a Star Wars story. Grand Theft Auto, which was made back in 1977. Rush, a movie called Frost Nixon, and The Dilemma. What do those 5 movies have in common?
Got to be the same actor, and I can't remember his name.
Wrong.
Wrong.
But I'm not going to tell you now. I'm just going to put this out to the viewers. If anybody knows, the first person who emails us at oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com and says what those 5 movies have in common, I'll say them again. Solo, a Star Wars story. Grand Theft Auto, Rush, Frost Nixon, and The Dilemma. And the first one gets one of those pies from Mike. All right, here, Mike. Here's the second of the last story of the day.
Okay.
I think you'll like this. Here are jobs that no one wants but pay very well. And I'm going to see which one you might want to try.
I've had a couple of jobs like that.
Like what?
Stripping wiring out of abandoned buildings, out of the piping in abandoned buildings for scrap salvage. Worked for a salvage company one summer.
Thank God. When you said stripping, I said, oh no, what the hell? Where is he going with this?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Stripping wires out of old buildings is pretty bad. By the way, you don't have to get paid for that anymore. People, wherever there's copper, people are just stealing it now.
Stealing it, yeah.
You don't need to get paid for that. All right, number one, would you ever want to be an electrician?
No.
No. Number 2, a plumber. You have the ass crack for it, but I want to see if you also have the brains for it.
Yeah. Now we're going to get a flood of questions from people wondering how you know that.
All right, number 3, truck driver.
Sure, I did. I drove for my dad for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but not you. I think this thing's referring to those truck drivers who get in a truck in Los Angeles and get out of it in Cleveland and live in their cabs and have to dropping stuff off and picking stuff up on and aren't home for weeks.
That's exactly what we did in the summertime when my brothers and I were old enough to get our commercial license. Part of Dad's ranching business was buying supplies in the east, on the East Coast, fencing supplies, steel posts, things like that. So we would haul grain to the East Coast and drop grain off and drop the sides on the grain tankers and create a flatbed and load it up with fencing supplies and drive back to the west.
Did he pay you?
Yeah, he let me put my feet under the table 3 times a day.
It's called exploitation. But
Exploitation.
thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Next job, would you want to be a mortician?
God, no.
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 Number 5, how about a dental hygienist?
No. No. Please.
No, that sucks. That sucks. Number 6, coal miner.
Hell no. No. Anything underground, the answer is no.
Well, next one's sort of underground too. A proctologist.
Next. The
And
doctor
the last one
is
is
in.
a garbage collector.
No. No.
So the only one that of all those jobs that you would want to do, but you did it for free, was as a truck driver.
Yeah, long haul truck driver. It was great fun. Listen, we were seniors in high school, freshmen in college. The world was our oyster. We're driving $200,000 Peterbilts, custom built, coast to coast, CB radios, sleeper cabs. No, I mean, hell, that was a great adventure.
Yeah, I could see that being an adventure at that age.
Yeah.
Though I don't know if I'd put my college-age son behind a Peterbilt. Who knows what would ensue? Not now.
Well, remember, we grew up on the ranch driving from the time we were 10 years old. So,
Well, I know. That wasn't much different from where I grew up. People didn't really care how old you were when you got behind the wheel,
Yeah.
as long as you could see over it and I mean, that was an era when somebody sent you down to the corner store to get cigarettes for your old man.
yeah. Take the Buick.
Take the Buick. Bring me back some Kents.
Yeah.
All right, for our final story, as always, it involves a man who resides in the great state of Florida, the Sunshine State. So I'm going to tell it backwards without telling anybody. I'm not even going to read you the headline. A guy named Baker. He went to a restaurant by himself, orders a buffet for one and a bottle of water. So it's probably one of those, kind of cafeteria-esque things, a buffet and a bottle of water. He picked up his food, found a seat at a table on his own in the back of the restaurant. Shortly after he gets there, he suddenly jumps up and shouts, "It's a rat! I'm not eating here. I want my money back." And indeed, as the article put it, there was a rat on the floor. So this is what his attorney said, as they described, and the man tasked with defending this act told the court today, on that day, Mr. Baker had been drinking heavily, and unfortunately, he decided to buy a rat for his daughter by way of a present.
Oh, Father of the Year material.
Unfortunately, then he decided to go for a meal. He sat down, ate his meal. When he had finished his meal, he took the rat out, and he said it bit him, jumped to the floor. He panicked and left the restaurant. He's very remorseful for his behavior. So this fool gets drunk, buys a rat somewhere. I don't know where you buy a rat. I guess they might sell them at pet stores. He bought it from some bum. And he's going to give it to his daughter. Huh? What?
Rodents are us.
Yeah, he's going to give it to his daughter for her birthday. Happy birthday, honey. Here's a rat. Then ends up at a restaurant, orders food, sits down, and then decides, well, this is where the story veers. According to him, the rat jumped up and bit him and then fell to the floor, and he screamed and ran out. But according to the witnesses in the restaurant, the rat hit the floor and he yelled, "There's a rat in this place. I'm not paying for the food."
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the entire meal was $10.
Well, which, I mean, if I'm the prosecuting attorney, number one question I would ask, "Sir, why did you bring the rat from your automobile into the restaurant to have lunch with you?"
No, I wouldn't even have got that far. I would have jailed him just for buying his daughter a rat for her birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
That alone should get you a year in jail.
That should get child abuse charges.
Right. It's the thing bit your daughter. All right. That's enough for today. Enough rat material for today. Remember to subscribe. If you subscribe, Mike will bring a double crusted something to your home.
Peach pie.
Peach pie. Where do you get peaches at around here?
Anywhere. They're in season.
Bring you a double crusted peach pie to your house. So subscribe and have that taste treat to look forward to. If you don't like to look at if you don't like to look at his face,
And what complaint could you possibly have?
you can go check us out on Apple or Spotify where you won't have to see us. Check out our Substack at 52tasks.substack.com. We always have a good task for you, something to keep you busy during the week and make you into a better person. And send us an email to oldpeoplethisweek@gmail.com. Questions, comments are taken. Any question, by the way. I'll answer any question you have. And what I don't know, Mike knows.
Possibly.
Possibly. That's true. There's very little I don't know. Well, that's it. We're off. Tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is happy hour day. Tomorrow, Mike and I will be roaming the bars like a couple of tomcats, drinking, talking, looking for material for this show.
Exactly.
So thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your day. Mike?
Adios.
Adios,
Talk to you
amigo.
later.
Talk to you later.